Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into the pretty fascinating world of business communication. We're going to look specifically through the lens of, well, a high-stakes sales meeting. Our mission here is really to pull out some crucial nuggets of knowledge, things about sales strategies, how people make and respond to suggestions, and, the surprising dynamics you find in workplace interactions. And our source material is this unique conversation. It gives us a direct line into real business English, how it's actually used. It's a bit of a shortcut, really, to being well-informed. Okay, so let's unpack this situation a bit. The core problem, it seems, is a company facing, well, declining sales. And the manager, this guy Clark, he's clearly feeling the heat. He's demanding concrete solutions to drive sales. And he wants them like right now. You can almost feel the pressure cooker environment just from the words.
Oh, absolutely. What's really fascinating here is that immediate pressure. It's almost palpable, isn't it? Clark's demand for concrete solutions, it's not just asking for ideas. It signals a real crisis footing, a critical need for quick, actionable measures to turn things around and drive sales. It's not just sell a bit more. He means a serious, immediate boost. To pull them out of this slump, the stakes feel incredibly high for everyone in that room.
Yeah. That urgency definitely sets the scene. So in this pressure cooker, Roger steps up first. His suggestion: lower our prices to match the competitors. His reasoning is that they are, and I quote, the most expensive in the market. Seems pretty logical on the surface.
Right, and that phrase, most expensive in the market, it immediately tells you where they stand competitively in their industry. It's a key piece of context. So when he suggests they match the competitors, he's proposing a clear strategic move. Align their pricing, maybe even undercut others. It's a standard tactic, really. But as you said, potentially risky for the bottom line.
Exactly. But how does the manager, Clark, react?
Yeah.
Sharply. Dismissive. Calls Roger's idea not very creative. And then the clincher: it'll never fly with Swan. Ouch.
It'll never fly. That phrase is so telling, isn't it? It shows just how fast an idea can get shot down in that kind of high pressure, maybe even unsafe environment. It basically means it won't work, it won't get approval. It's just not seen as a real option. There's no discussion, just boom, rejection. That can really stifle people.
Totally stifling. So then Natalie gives it a try. She suggests a promotion, specifically a 2-for-1 offer. And again, Clark's reaction is instant and negative. Bad idea, really bad idea. He's just knocking everything down. You can almost picture the morale just sinking. But then here's where it gets really interesting, right? The plot twists. Suddenly, Mr. Swan arrives, the CEO. You can imagine the sudden shift in the room's atmosphere. Everyone straightens up. And Clark, the manager, what does he do? An immediate pivot, a total 180-0. He presents Natalie's 2-for-1 offer, the one he just called a really bad idea, to the CEO. And he says, we were kind of considering it, he just shot it down.
It's quite something. And if we sort of connect this to the bigger picture, it's such a stark example of power dynamics in action, almost theatrical. And the CEO's reaction, surprisingly open. He says, I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Wow. So the CEO likes it.
Exactly. And that positive signal from the top, it triggers Clark's complete instantaneous reversal. Suddenly, it's exactly what I was thinking. It's a brilliant idea. It's very creative. The very things he accused the earlier ideas of not being. It just jumps out at you, doesn't it? This raises a big question about leadership, how ideas actually gain traction, and those underlying power games in meetings. What does this tell you?
It tells you a lot. And often, sadly, things we see play out all too often. It's a powerful moment in that transcript. Okay, so beyond just the office drama, this whole scenario is packed with useful business language. We've already heard things like, it'll never fly, and Clark's sudden we were kind of considering. Let's maybe pull out some key terms that really illuminate what's going on and could help you navigate similar situations.
Good idea. Let's start with match the competitors, which Roger mentioned. It simply means being as good as, or perhaps better than, other companies in the same field. Think about price matching guarantees some stores offer, or maybe a company can't match competitors because their costs are too high. It's about positioning.
Okay, positioning makes sense.
And related to that is in the market. When Rogers said they were the most expensive in the market, he meant in their specific industry or sector. You might say, we aim to be the best language learning tool in the market. Or back then, iPods were the dominant MP3 players in the market. It just specifies the competitive arena.
Got it. So in the market equals in the industry.
Pretty much. Then there's promotion, like Natalie's idea. In business, this isn't about getting a better job title. It's a marketing strategy, like buy one, get one free, or a temporary sale or special discounts, anything to boost sales short term.
Right, distinct from a job promotion. Good clarification.
And Clark's demand for concrete solutions. That means real, specific, tangible fixes, not vague concepts. He wanted actionable plans, things they could actually do.
No fluff allowed.
Exactly. And Roger also touched on being competitive, which means being as good as, or ideally better than, the others out there. Being competitive is fundamental to hitting sales goals. You have to offer something that stacks up well.
Makes sense. You need a competitive edge.
Precisely. And all these things, pricing, promotions, solutions, they fall under the umbrella of the overall sales strategy. That's the big plan, the company's roadmap for how it's going to conduct its sales activities and hopefully meet its targets.
Okay, that's a great breakdown of the business jargon. Now, thinking about how you can sound more natural and effective in these settings, the source actually gives us some nice fluency builders, little phrases that can make your English sound more professional, more natural.
That's right. For example, instead of saying something basic like, I'll be here soon, you could use, be here any minute. Like Clark might have thought, the CEO will be here any minute. It adds a touch of immediacy, expectation.
Yeah.
Very common in business.
Okay, be here any minute. Nice one.
Another useful one is using to consider instead of just, we are thinking about something. Remember the CEO saying, it sounds like something we should consider. It feels a bit more formal, more deliberate than just thinking about. It signals a serious evaluation is happening or should happen.
Right, adds a bit more weight. Consider.
And one more. Instead of the standard, that's a great idea, you might hear or use brilliant. Clark suddenly called Natalie's idea brilliant after the CEO liked it. Now, it can sound a bit more British English, perhaps, but it carries more power. It really emphasizes the quality of the idea, though using it like Clark did, right after dismissing it, makes it sound pretty opportunistic, doesn't it?
Definitely opportunistic. That strategic use of brilliant is quite revealing. And this whole scenario, it's just such a vivid picture of different management styles, isn't it? What else did you observe about the boss, Clark, beyond his quick changes of heart?
Well, the source material paints him as, frankly, a terrible person to work for. And you can see why. His way of cutting people off, shooting down ideas without real thought, and then snagging credit later. That's classic poor leadership. You get the sense his team is probably hesitant, maybe even scared, to speak up, which is the last thing you need when you're looking for concrete solutions, right? It creates this environment where good ideas might just wither unless they happen to align perfectly with what the boss or the boss's boss already thinks.
Yeah, that fear factor is toxic.
Absolutely. And you contrast that with what effective management looks like. You know, leaders who encourage their teams, who support them, help them develop, leaders who motivate people and build a real sense of teamwork. I remember my first general manager, absolutely amazing, made a point of knowing every single employee's first name. Hundreds of people. He'd stop, say hello, ask how you're really doing. It wasn't superficial. And that small thing, it created this incredible feeling of loyalty. People genuinely wanted to work hard, not just for the paycheck, but for the team, for him. It built such a strong culture.
Wow, that's powerful. Knowing names seems so simple, but the impact.
Huge impact.
It really highlights how that feeling a boss creates, positive or negative, goes way beyond just individual tasks. It shapes performance, innovation, the whole company culture. It seems like it could be the difference between thriving and, well, flailing, like this team seems to be. So we've just finished this deep dive into a pretty tense sales meeting. We've looked at key business phrases, those subtle communication cues, and the powerful impact of leadership for better or worse.
And understanding these dynamics, recognizing them, is just so valuable for your own professional journey. Knowing how ideas land, how to frame your own contributions, and reading those different leadership styles, it can genuinely affect your career and how effectively you can operate.
Absolutely. So for you listening, here's something to maybe mull over. How do those unseen power dynamics in meetings like the one we just dissected really shape things? Not just the decisions made right there, but the deeper company culture, its long-term success, its ability to innovate. Maybe think about your own experiences. Have you seen managers like Clark or like that general manager you mentioned? How do these phrases and dynamics play out where you work?